Hello and welcome to the 10th episode of the Gochuucast, and today we're going to be talking about gacha games. And we have finally filled the seat. The chair over on the bottom right there has been filled by Mr. Laciel G. If you just want to introduce yourself, I guess, to the 30 people that are currently subscribed.
Yo, I'm the first one.
Yeah,
that's
you
freaking
are our
sick.
first guest.
You are.
Yeah, we didn't want to go like too hard on like guests or anything like off the bat because we don't exactly have a presence online.
Should have
Well,
asked me
it was
6 months
like-
ago.
Yeah. Plus, it was like I was thinking of people that would be fun to bring on. It was like I've known Lace for a good amount through pre-con, so
Yeah, this is
Princess Connect.
this is my first time like speaking to you, I guess. I've chatted in
Me too.
the guild chat or whatever, but
I don't play gacha games. Let's go.
That's fair.
I don't. It's probably for the best that you don't.
Maybe.
Would agree. How about I'll take it. Yeah. Hey, everybody, to all 30 viewers. I'm sure you guys will blow up soon. Trash taste, more like just trash. I'm a YouTuber. I make gacha videos and videos on gacha games, as well as sometimes VTubers and other cultured things, I suppose. And it's been about maybe a year and a half. About a year and a half, and I've grown to about 13,000 subs with a decent amount of viewership. So I'm not exactly the hottest guy on the block, but I'm getting there.
It's still
that's
pretty
nothing
good.
that's nothing to belittle over.
Yeah, that's
I believe
like
in you, please.
however many times.
Especially in
the
like
size
a year and a
of us.
half. I'm not gonna lie. Like I assumed, because I've known you at this point for just a little over a year.
Yeah.
And like I don't know how big you were, obviously, when like we were in the clan together and everything, but I just kind of assumed from the way people talked, it's like, oh, Lace is probably like been around, been doing stuff for like a good amount, like several years, because it was like, oh, people like know him.
Nah, Precon was essentially like the game that really where I really tryharded and I really took off, and so it's been less than 1.5 years for Precon. So that means it's been less than
I
1.5 years.
imagine a lot of that growth was probably just like from like Precon, not like just Precon, but like a lot of that was around like that time period too.
Yeah, actually, funny you say that, because Precon is certainly like the core of my channel, but there are some other games which skyrocketed as well, like Punishing Grey Raven, such as what is that other one? Freaking Nino Kuni. Like, everybody be playing that, but me. And
Wait,
some
that's
of
a
the other,
gacha
like,
game? I swear to God, that was like an actual like RPG that people played, like bought.
It's both. It's best of both worlds. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, interesting.
It's like
I didn't know.
when you actually look into gacha games, there's so many like different styles of games that don't feel like Revived Witch didn't really feel like a gacha game in terms of gameplay until you actually started like messing with the units and everything.
Yeah, I haven't done too many myself. Precon is, I guess Genshin kept me for like 2 weeks, but Precon's the only one that's kept me for more than 2 days outside of that. So it was definitely
Shit.
yeah, good old Genshin Impact. What a grand community. I probably shouldn't say that. Genshin people are
Unhinged?
Genshin people are great, I'm sure.
Okay, understandable.
But yeah, Precon was like, I think it's the simplicity of the game. The UI is like 5 buttons that take you to the other buttons, but then like I tried to play Blue Archive, and it's like kind of the same UI, but there's like 20 more of them, and there's just too much shit on the screen, and so I stopped playing it after the tutorial.
Also, just something about the art style that's like almost cartoony, but not quite.
Yeah.
Like it's just the right amount of anime that it just feels like comfy gacha.
It might be because I watched
the
the
artwork.
anime that it also kept me, because that was my introduction to it, and then it got the global version. I'm like, all right, I'll try it out, and now I'm a slave to clan battles.
Slave to the
I'm
grind,
finally
bro.
free, but Lace and I go way back to the war days where I was selling my soul 20 hours a week, 22 hours a week, or not 22, 20 hours a week, 20 hours a day to see
What?
5 days.
No,
a week.
Full-time job?
You have no idea. Precon clan battles are crazy.
Bro, Lace knows the hours I had to put in Sky, especially for like CB5 and CB6.
Okay, did you win?
We won CB5.
Yeah, they got like number 1 in the world or whatever. That's a grind. Like
That's insane.
number 1 in the world is it's hard enough to get top 10, obviously, which I only ever did once with UE bets, but
Ligma male
And
grind
in
set. That's crazy.
CP6, I basically got his top 10 by myself. There was no one available CP6. I was pretty much just in the voice call alone the whole time, just pinging people like crazy. And then I would just be like, Lace, why aren't your units 5-starred? Now I have to make you a route.
What do you mean, bro? What do you mean? I'm not a sandbagger.
Custom lace routes were the most frustrating but also fun part of Sky CVs, because I would make like a perfect route plan and everything, and then I'd realize like, oh yeah, Lace is like the only true free-to-play person in the clan. So now I have to like entirely remake. So it's not true, but at the same time, it's like most of the people in Sky that were free-to-play also were like very reckless with their gems.
Yeah, that's not a new problem.
Like, yeah, that's like a terrible thing to do. Like what Lace did was perfect for the long haul, but then I'd still be sitting there like looking at the teams. I'm like specifically having to like test teams and everything to be like, can Lace even do this?
yeah, I definitely never contributed like 20 hours or anything like that. I think the most I ever did, I have a screenshot of it. It's like 14 hours or something on the game. I don't know how I didn't crash. It was honestly pretty impressive of my blue stacks that day, but that's the most I ever did for like UE bets. And we don't talk about Arya. No, was it Arya or? Yeah, Arya, the one. We don't talk about that clan, but
So do you guys usually play on BlueStacks, or do any of you actually play on a physical mobile device?
I actually played on phone.
I alternate.
Multitasker.
I'm not on my phone anymore because the clan I'm in now is with Lace we're like top 25, so we're more chill, and so I don't care about using like auto clicker or anything. I just use my hands.
Yeah, I think I might have been like the only like big leader that I knew at the time in pre-con that was playing like entirely on just my phone and not with BlueStacks.
That was Daniel. That's a really interesting point. I mean, what are the rest of your thoughts on auto clickers? Is it cheating or?
I don't think it's cheating. All right, look, there are levels to it. I guess technically you can hit some of these things on your own, but like having something to click for you at like 1 millisecond a click is much more reassuring than my boomer fingers. Because I'll have moments where like I don't think I'm gonna get the UB, so I like let up for like maybe like a nanosecond, but then it pops up and it's just too late because I stopped spamming because I just didn't think I had time, and so I've lost UBs that way. Which like one UB isn't the end of the world, but like
I feel like it also depends on like the style of gameplay. Because like Precon, for example, is like primarily PvE. Even like the actual PvP aspect is basically PvE.
If it was PvP, I'd agree that it's probably cheating. But there's no advantage. Like there's no intrinsic like advantage to like just clicking faster in a PvE.
What? But there is, right?
I mean, there is, but like it's less of a because you can get them on phone too. It's not like it's available for everyone. It's not like
underground shit, right?
Yeah, it's not like it's underground. It's PvE, and it's not like because like 1 to 10 doesn't matter. You get the same reward. Like sure you have the bigger dick if you get like number 1 in the world or whatever, but the rewards are the same in the end. So rarely does it, I feel like, ever cause like such a difference, because a lot of it just comes down to like the timelines and stuff. And I don't know, the game. I feel like there's some bullshit timelines out there, so I feel like the auto clicker is the least that we have to help us to do things.
That's fair.
I definitely.
What was your first gacha game, Lace?
First gacha.
Me? Oh shit, bro! My gambling habits date back to when I was in high school. Talking Brave Frontier. I think that was probably the first. Anybody else? Brave Frontier, please?
No, not at all. But
never heard of
a fun one.
2013.
I think my first one. I mean, my first one was probably FGO. Realistically, like the first thing I would call it Gacha. But I actually used to play like a lot of like the like sports mobile games where you would do like the team builders and everything. and stuff
Like
like that.
Manager or
And
whatever?
They're
Oh.
basically
Okay.
They're basically like American Gacha games.
Like Madden
Yeah.
Mobile, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, like FIFA Ultimate Team or whatever. I think Madden is Ultimate Team, but FIFA like all of those types of things.
Yeah.
Which are like basically just Gacha games.
Yep.
If we
But in
count
terms
those,
of like anime Gacha game, it's FGO is my first.
my first would technically be Madden Mobile, I guess. If back when it was good, anyway. Not that it was probably ever good,
There was a
but
period of time where it was like,
but
I can't tell you it was good, but
anime wise, it was fun to play and like talk with friends. But anime wise, I think you ever heard of Crusader's Quest?
No.
Okay, so I have a friend, right, and he talks shit on anime all the time, but I hold this over his head now. Back in the day, he played a game called Crusader's Quest, and it's just a fucking gacha game. It's like Precon in a way, and I don't know, he told me about it. And he's like, hey, "You'd probably like this." I feel. I didn't. They kept me for 10 minutes, and then I uninstalled it. But
the graphics in this look.
I
It's
don't
like
know.
a boomer game.
It's an older.
So graphic.
Yeah, it's definitely. I don't know. It wasn't good. It didn't keep me. Precon's the only thing I can like really talk on. I thought I'd like Arknights because it's like tower defense, and usually I like that. But I don't know. There's too many buttons. There's too much shit going on. I gotta like charge my base. I gotta charge a base and stuff. Absolutely not. Precon is just like an AFK game, and I feel like I can log on every day and play it and not feel like I want to bash my head in against the wall until it's like CB time.
Understandable.
So would you say that you're almost like a normie?
When it comes to gacha games, yeah, I would say I'm definitely normal because like it's the only one I play right now, and probably once Global dies, I'm done. It's good for my wallet. It's good for my wallet that I only play one.
I think it's also like a lot of the shows that Daniel likes are not shows that you would see releasing like the hottest shonen gacha game ever. Like there's Dokkan for Dragon Ball.
I played
like the
Dokkan a
one.
little bit. There's a ReZero isekai fucking gacha game or whatever in Japan.
I think really, I thought ReZero just
Yeah,
collabs with everyone.
ReZero. Okay, yeah, they collab with everyone, and now they have their own game. So if it ever comes to global, maybe I'll play that. But Precon will have to be dead first, probably.
ReZero has a like a visual novel thing too, right?
It has a game, yeah. I haven't played
Yeah,
all the way through it, but ReZero is a very merch heavy kind of series.
True. Understandable.
But it doesn't have the the gambling element to it.
Yeah.
I mean, why do you guys play gacha
can you
games?
define a gacha? Can someone define? Can it get a clear
So
definition?
gacha game is literally just basically the umbrella term for a game that has a microtransaction like loot box type feature.
Yo, so League of Legends.
Kinda, yeah.
League of Legends literally has loot boxes.
Would you call gacha like true gambling? I know it's like an argument or whatever, but
I think it's like I think it's fair to
gambling,
say like you have a gambling addiction and everything. Like as someone who has played gachas and spends not anymore as much, but used to spend a decent amount of money on them, like it's definitely a gambling type thing. Especially when you have gachas where you have limits for $500 and you just get this character, right? Because then a lot of times it'll just become something like where it's I have $500 sitting around, so I'm gonna gamble and see if I can get it, and if I don't, then I'll just spend the full 500 and then have done all my summons anyway.
yeah, I think the
You're
one
crazy. What the frick? What the hell?
The one thing that I differentiate between gambling and gacha is gambling while you're doing it, you feel that high, right? With gacha, it's just pain. There's nothing but pain. Once you pull one waifu, you got to go on to the next one. You know that like 2 weeks the banner's going to change, and you're going to have to fucking pull again.
You react that way, Lance, but there's quite literally a video on your channel that you can go look up of me spending $320 live on stream.
Now I remember now.
For Halloween Misaki. Yeah.
Oh my god. Halloween Misaki is the worst decision I've made in my pre-con career to spark her. That was easily the worst thing I've done.
It was such a bad idea for me to have sparked her.
Everyone was like,
But,
"Oh yeah, dude, she's got some uses," and I get her. I've used her 3 times, and she's been useful in those 3 times. But it was not worth the spark because my account has always been riding the edge, like since day one. I don't know how I'm alive right now, but
it's I don't even want to think because I haven't spent money on FGO since like 2017 or whatever. Like the last time I went to play it, but I started playing again recently, and I was thinking about like the amount of money I've spent on it. And FGO doesn't have a pity.
they don't have pity.
I'm
Oh my lord!
fairly certain for one of the characters, I probably spent around $700 to $800.
I don't know if I've spent that much on precon over a year and a half or whatever, almost a year and a half that we've been playing.
But yeah, so for me, I'm definitely like it is like a little bit of a gambling problem, but I guess the problem with the problem comparing it to Gacha is that gambling there's kind of the chance of like losing, I guess the way I would say it, whereas for Gacha it's just do you have enough money to win?
Kind of
pretty
true.
much like the like weird comparison there. Or do you have enough gems to win? That's where like Lace's free to play strategy comes into play because he just saves every gem he has and only summons like the things that he needs to have. And so it's like it's the same thing, but it's instead of gambling with his money, he's just gambling with his stash.
It's true, and you know what's funny about that? It's that there are parallels to my real life, and that is in real life, I'm a freaking pack rat, right? I'm a freaking hoarder. Hey, so I buy like a new appliance or some shit. I'm freaking opening it like as nicely as I can, and then packing it like packing the box away and shit. And then so my house is freaking like filled with a bunch of shit, like empty boxes and stuff. So yeah, I think there are certainly some maybe not a gambling addiction, but something else there, something else deeply ingrained in my
feel
mind.
like you have. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just gonna say, like, I feel like people throw out the word gambling addiction a lot, but I feel like if you put like every person in the world in a casino, I feel like a vast majority of them would still like play casino games, even if they knew like it was stacked against them. You know what I mean? I wouldn't call that addiction, right? So it's like I feel like it's natural to like. There's a human propensity to enjoy gacha games. There you go. That's my conclusion.
I think because gambling is so gamified in like a lot of settings, like gacha games are just another version of that.
Yeah.
And because gambling is gamified in so many different ways, it's just like there is probably a gambling venue that almost anyone will be able to enjoy to some capacity.
Yeah.
If
I
they
feel
have
like
the money.
with Gacha, like in the end, I think one of the things that makes it so popular is like it's gambling in a way, but you all like if you spend the money, you're probably going to be gaining something. Like you'll probably if you're spending money, you're probably going for the pity. You're not just getting like the extra pull or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Opium or
saying. You'll
hope.
pretty much always win in Gacha if you are spending the money. If you're
In
not
the end,
spending
I
the
think
money,
we actually
it's like
always
a
lose.
different type of gambling.
We always lose. In the end, the game is going to shut down one day, and we've lost. But
Yeah.
the real gambling is the friends we made along the way.
Hey,
Yeah,
stop.
the 5-star waifus we made along the way.
Yes.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I got to make the it's the bot that I had you invite to the server. I don't know the I think it was funny at first, and now I think everyone hates it, but I like
Arubot?
the Aru bot. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I don't know. It
That
was like a funny gimmicky type thing, but now it's been there for like 4 months or something
everyone's
like that.
like it just exists. No one questions it. Not even like the new people. It's just there. It's there. Like all right, if I stop doing it, I'm sure no one would like notice or anything. But it's just there for the motivation. You know, you get your Gombere beams out there. You need your good luck when you're heading into the shitty precon bosses or whatever.
Wait, what does a bot do?
So the bot, it's got a multitude of features, I suppose. But what it was created to do was, back when I started becoming a coordinator or whatever, whenever I sent people into bosses, I would like send the GIF for the do your best beam, and eventually people were like pinging me in like the fucking dead of the night, like where's my beam? I'm like, all right, fuck it,
Beam.
fuck it. I'm just gonna automate motivation. And so I made the Aru bot, and whatever, there's like specific phrases it reacts to. The initial one was like, I'm going in or I'm hitting,
Yeah.
and it'll just send the do your best beam.
But then he started adding more features
Oh, yeah.
to it of like a similar. So like there was this character in Princess Connect named Ilya, and
Oh,
Ilya did this thing a lot where she liked to crit herself. So she had a self-damaging attack,
Friendly fire.
and because Princess Connect is a bad game, she also had a chance that her self-damaging attack would crit and double the damage on herself and die in a lot of cases.
Okay.
So he added another feature where certain phrases related to her, Arbot would send like more comments that were just like making fun of the fact that like, oh, your Ilya died.
yeah. It's like there's one that like weeps to it, but then there's another one that it's like it's the you know the SpongeBob episode with the health inspector where they're, like, they're laughing at him. Yeah, it's that. It's like look at him suffer. It's pretty. I don't know. It doesn't spam like chat that bad or whatever.
Could I ask, Spat? Did you say Spat? You don't play gacha games at all?
I mean, I've tried a couple of them. I mean, again, is League of Legends a gacha game?
I don't think we'll count League of Legends as a gacha game.
League of Legends it doesn't have an anime, but it has Arcane, which
It's
is
basically
like,
the
Bro,
League of
that's
Legends.
I love Arcane. Okay, I tried Bang Dream Girls or whatever.
yes,
You know what I'm talking
Bandori.
Okay,
Oh, okay. I'm playing
it's not
Project
about-
Sakai
it's
too.
not-
I forgot about that.
It's not about Bang Dream Girls. It's girls. Yeah, it's actually not, surprisingly. I tried that for like a couple weeks. I don't know. I'm just like bad at rhythm games, so I just like stopped.
To be fair, like,
And then I tried like Fate Grand Order. It was okay. I don't know. I just stopped. Like I don't know. I just like I need like certain kinds of
for a
games.
bit. I think like there's a level of commitment to gacha games too that if like
Yeah, I
you're
don't
not
know.
prepared to be ready to
No.
at least like log in
I
once
did
a
play
day, you
Genshin.
just fall
I played
behind.
Genshin
Yeah.
for 3 weeks.
Oh, okay, never mind. You were gonna say I still play Genshin today.
No,
You played it with 3 weeks.
dude, Genshin
I
was
should
like
maybe.
I was like in my college dorm or whatever, and it was like COVID times when I first started college. So I was like sitting there doing nothing. So Genshin was like kind of fun then, but then after 2 weeks, I'm like, man, it takes like 20 years to do my fucking dailies because I have to travel across the fucking world to go
That
anywhere.
was like my biggest issue with Genshin.
It's
was
just-
the
yeah.
amount of time.
It's too much time being spent, and you said that like you need a level of commitment. I think I guess like depending on that level, because like Project Sakai, I don't log in every day. I probably should to at least get my daily rewards, but like I have determined that I'm only going to pull on Kohene banners, and so I guess I'm about to start playing the game again once that happens Tuesday
It's, like,
apparently. But
yeah, it's tomorrow.
Lugia said Tuesday, so probably then. I really hope I get her in like I only have 3 pulls, so I got 30 tries to get it, or else I'm fucked. Never playing the game again. But
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it sounds like none of you have the like. There's an issue with gacha games. The issue that gacha games thrive on, which is sunk cost, right?
Yes.
Making you log in every day, like FOMOing you
Yes.
guys out. And it sounds
Yes.
like none of you have that.
well,
You say that, but I
that-
dedicated 6 months of my life to Princess Connect, playing every
Okay,
day,
true.
optimizing every unit to the exact, specifications of the clan leads, and then mapping out CB routes.
I think it's all
PvP
about, like,
locking.
what's your breaking point? I guess is how far the sunk cost fallacy goes. Like,
Mhm.
Yep.
I kind of have it with anime in a way. Like, all right, so I watch a lot of dog shit anime, and no matter what, I finish them.
You will not drop it.
I will not drop anything because I think that you can't shit on something until you finish it. And so
Understandable.
I have been through all sorts of pain, especially recently. Like there's been a lot of good anime, but God, there's been some absolute fucking dog water things. I'll give Japan
Today,
this.
the day that Oregon 2 came out. Speaking of dog water things,
Like Japan is like really different from America because America just releases the same thing over and over again, and everyone loves it. But Japan's like they'll release different stuff. Some of it's going to be great, some of it's going to be awful, but at least they do different things.
Mm-hmm.
Recent one. Which one's trash?
Trash. Okay, so this season, it's only been
This
one
season,
episode.
last season.
This season, it's only been one episode. But have you ever heard of an anime called "My Stepmother's Daughter Is My Ex"?
Okay, dude.
we haven't watched episode 1 yet.
I actually did see that on TikTok. I was actually kind of
Oh my god.
I wanted to watch it. What the frick?
But
Hey, is that weird?
all right, look, I've been through my fair share of things. It at a point you become like desensitized to it. Like you watch Eromanga Sensei, and then nothing else matters. like domestic girlfriend. I read the whole fucking thing. It doesn't matter anymore. There's nothing that the Japanese can do that can phase me.
Huh. That's yeah, I see.
Interesting.
I think I've had the same experiences with like the shit animes. But I think recently, only very recently, and I'm freaking old as hell. I'm a dinosaur. Did I learn to finally drop shit right with the sunk cost? But I still haven't
Dude, I've
learned
been
that
doing
with
that since day one. Let's go.
Spat probably has dropped more anime than he's finished. Like,
Oh, probably, dude. At least like three or four times as many.
but like I don't know, because there's always a chance like things like turn it around. I don't think I've ever.
I agree.
I don't think I've ever watched anything that turned it around like in a massive way. Like last season, Tomodachi Game, I despised at the start. It was awful. It was one of my least favorite things I ever watched. But then like halfway through, it like became mid, and so it got a little bit better. But I don't think I've ever seen anything that like started shit and ended great.
See, it's not that I drop, like I consciously drop. It's just at some point I just click the X button.
I think my problem is I will like have a session, however many episodes that is, and then after that, let's say I watch 4 episodes or something, I'll like get distracted, go do whatever, life happens, and then I'll come back and I'll be like, I don't want to watch any more of that yet. I'll do it later. And the next thing I know, there's just like 30 shows that I am a quarter to halfway through.
Dude, I wish I could get quarter halfway through. What the heck?
I think one of my biggest issues with because sometimes I'll have to like binge to catch up to things, but like I talk in so many different communities now, it's like I leave to binge one show and I come back and it's like someone got murdered. So
Yeah,
and it's
everything
like
is happening.
so, there's so much happening and I'm like fuck, I have to like scroll.
Or
up,
you have like
catch up.
notifications on, and then you watch like a minute of the show, and then
Oh
you
my
see
God.
like the chat's lit up, and so you're like, oh, what are they talking about now?
The worst
and the next
shit
thing you know, you're in there
is,
for 30 minutes.
I'll be like playing dude, Project Sakai is the worst for this shit. It pisses me off to no end. Is I'll be in the middle of a song and then Twitter's like, hey, look at this tweet. I'm like, and I'll like miss like 20 of them because I have to remove the notification that covers my whole screen.
I would just
so
put on
annoying.
do not disturb mode whenever I play Sekai.
Yeah, bro, that's a rookie error, man. What the frick?
It's just too much work to turn on a whole thing for a game that I don't like put that much into.
I think since we're talking about also sunk cost and gacha games, I think like my biggest issue is usually the daily grind isn't necessarily where I like really feel the sunk cost thing, but I find it really hard to play gacha games and not feel like I have a account that has like all of the really good toys, so to speak. So like pre-con, I got a little like too into it because I was basically like, I just want every character so I can use them all because quote, they're all useful, and that's not really true. But it was like this thing where I was like, I want to have every character in the game and I want to have them built so I can just like use them for memes and stuff like that. But Fate Grand Order, I don't do that. But if a like pretty good meta character comes out, even if it's not like broken, it's just like an upgrade over whatever I have in the current slot, I'll just be like, shit, I have to get that character because it makes my team so much better. And so it's like kind of not sunk cost, but it's also this idea
That's
where
pretty
it's
sunk
like
cost. I don't know.
I
dude.
need to keep upgrading my units, even regardless of whether it's a good or a bad idea, because I've already played this game so much and I have such a good team that I don't want to like fall off.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I mean, at least like from precon at the very beginning, I was pulling everything, and this is like it's a miracle. It's a God came down and he's like, you know what, I will bless your account because there's no way I should be around right now, because I was spending all my gems like as soon as I got them, I would do a 10 pull or whatever, and
Did start for the first
within
like, 2 months.
within every banner, I would get everything in like 3 pulls or like 3 multis, and so I kept my account alive for as long as I needed to until I started getting good at the game. Like you sent me to Yui Bats, and I had 3-star Hiyori. Like I didn't know what the fuck was actually good or not. Like I would fuck. I would watch Lace videos, but like I wouldn't watch if I didn't watch every single one or whatever. I just have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, and then it was like our first 2 months we were in our like fees
and
friends clan
and
too.
that,
So it's not like we were doing anything correct. We were just kind of like
we were just doing shit.
playing the game, having fun, and then CB would come around and I'd be pinging everyone like, make sure you hit today.
Yeah, like if you didn't recommend me, there's no chance I get into to UVets because they're like, so what was your total damage? And I'm like, here, and they're like, oh, all right, well, you're PK's friend, so we'll trust you. But going back to like what you said about like you would pull every character or whatever because you felt like you needed everything. I'm glad that I got rid of that quickly because I will skip units if I don't care for them if they're not meta as well. Like Summer Suzume, I did not care to pull. That was like the easiest skip of my life, I feel.
See, I would always like think like, oh, I need to skip that character because
I just don't care for her.
Spend gems. And then the problem is you're in these communities like Sky or, you know, the cults and everything, and they'll be like, all right, everyone, let's just get in the voice call and start summoning. Or even like Lace, I don't know if he still does them, but he used to do like the summon streams when all of his clan basically, or like a good portion of like clan community would just all get into a call. This is the one where Halloween Misaki, I talked about spending a lot of money on his stream.
Yeah.
But he would all get in a call and he would just like show our Discord streams of us doing our polls. And it's like this big community thing. And so it feels lame to like show up to that and then be like, I'm not pulling this banner.
Yeah.
Nah,
FOMO.
that's okay.
Almost.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is there anything right now currently, Lace, that you are playing that you think is like really good out of curiosity? So
Really
obviously we've
good.
talked about Precon a lot.
I had a related
Mixed
question.
opinions
Answer
probably
this
in
one
this,
first.
but Precon gave me some good time.
For me, okay, I'll tell you what I'm playing right now. Right now I'm playing Princess Connect Precon. I'm playing Blue Archive, Alchemy Stars, Genshin Impact,
Okay.
and a little bit of Artery Gear. Artery Gear
Okay.
has slipped from my fingers, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I think this is the end of the line kind of thing.
Yeah, I know a lot of people when it came out were really hyped about Artery Gear, and it seems like everyone just kind of like fell off pretty quickly after it came out.
It's a good game. It's actually a great game. However, it's also kind of like for me, gacha games almost have like a slot, right? Where like a lot of people for their slots, there is going to be one main game, one side game. For me, it's usually like one main game and maybe like 3 side games, something like that, right? And that's purely because like I make content on it. If I could have it my way, I'd probably have like one main game or 2 side games or 3 side games, and that's just it. For me, Artery Gear is very much turned into a side game, and I don't know how much you guys know about Artery Gear, but essentially there's something you do called like walking the dogs, or which in essence is leveling up fodder so that you can star up your units, right? And I think I kind of got sick of
Walking
it
the
again.
dogs.
Yeah, walking the dogs, because you use these dogs as upgrade materials, right? And so you'd have to walk them, like to take them through. So the idea is you have 3 fodders in a team, and then 1 carry, and then you just like level up those dogs, right? So that carry can one hit the entire stage, and in doing so, you get a whole bunch of experience for your dogs, and then you'd level your dogs, and then use those dogs to star up from like 5 stars to 6 stars or something. It's not a new system. Epic 7 was the original source of this walking the dogs phrase. But for me, especially with like the autoplay Cure L, I don't know how much you guys know about Outer Gear, but there is a feature where you can set, okay, I have 800 stamina and I want to spend this on 30 runs of this stage. I think that's at that point, wouldn't you just skip? Like, why not just implement a skip kind of system, man? Like, bruh. So,
Which is
yeah,
actually
like,
kind of a fun topic. Is like skips and
Dude, skip tickets
speed-ups in
are
general.
the thing that
Yeah.
make breathe life into me in Precon, dude. I remember when they were like a hot commodity at the start too, like when you hadn't built up a amount of
Yeah,
them.
and it's
That's like the most painful thing ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I just have like 6,000 to throw around, and it's like I'll never run out.
Well, because that's like FGO doesn't have skip or even like a particularly great speed up or anything like that, because it's like a turn-based type. It's not a card game, but basically every turn you get like these like attack cards of some sort, and you choose 3 of like 5 that you drew, and that's how your turn plays out. So it's very slow and grindy to do even like a single level. And they've always said like, yeah, we're not really interested in implementing a skip or even an autoplay or anything like that.
They're just trying to like drag people into their game as far as they can, so they never let go.
But you know what FGO does have that, or for me anyway, that Artery Gear didn't, and it's that FGO has that cult following because of the characters and the story, right? Artery Gear for me was like, oh yeah, everybody just kind of half naked kind of shit, and I think a lot of my audience knows that I'm not like into the giga horny shit. I don't know, man. I'm a self-proclaimed degen, and I'm not into giga horny. Kind of sounds sus, but it's true, right? And that's probably what got me off of it. So yeah, I'm interested to hear like what do you guys play for? Because like for me, it sounds like even though Outer Gear had all of the QOL and like on paper, objectively, it had all of the great systems that I wanted, it still managed to slip out of my hands, right? So I'm starting to think that maybe it's not just all of this QOL stuff. It's also like story character. Like a lot of people talk about caring for their characters. I think I'm starting to relate.
I definitely think to me
understand
it's like a balance. Like I guess if I had to like sum it up in just a word, it's like the world. Because like this precon story is great, but I never really like read a lot of the precon story. I just kind of like know the clip notes and everything like that. But there's so much personality, I feel like, in a lot of the characters, even in just like the event stories and everything, that like I care about the precon world, even with the little snippets that I know of the story.
I would
But
say
then, like in FGO, it's like I've faithfully read the story up to the point that I'm currently at, and I'm familiar with the characters from other shows and everything too. And so it's like a different relationship I have with those two games, but it's still kind of the same. Like I enjoy the setting that it's in and the characters that are in it.
I would say definitely like partially care. Like I'm not like deep into it, but like there's that little tingle in your heart whenever you log on during your birthday and your fucking character's singing to you or whatever. The good old parasocial relationship with 2D waifus or whatever. That hit me so hard. I'm like, what the fuck? I forgot I set my birthday or whatever, and that was gonna happen. But I log in and it's like instead of the normal like, well, let's reach the top of the world or whatever, it's like happy birthday. I'm like, oh, thanks. All right.
Feels good.
I don't know what I'm playing for anymore. Probably the community, if anything. I like the people I've met. Generally,
yeah, I do
the
think
game.
that is another thing, is especially with precon,
like
because of the way that Daniel and I kind of just ended up in the like greater precon community.
Yeah.
It was really hard for me to like say I just am at a point with this game where I love the IP, I love the game, but the grind itself is just not fun anymore.
Yeah. I'd say I'm like technically in the greater community, like I've reached top 10 or whatever, but I'm not like too deep into it to where like I've probably pissed off many mafias in my lifetime. Whenever I actually like did the PvP, now I just kind of like sit there because I have so many coins that I don't need to. But I never went that deep into like the mafia thing. Like, what's your opinion on the mafia? Because I feel like that's kind of like, I understand it. I feel like it's kind of a dick move in like PvP though. I think it should be a free for all.
I mean, as a mafia leader, or like someone who was a mafia leader in a lot of the precon stuff, I think it's fine. It's like a little bit of a dick move, but I also think it's kind of a way for a lot of people to play PvP and also get excited about what is a very boring and bland PvP system.
I kind of get it, but like I always feel bad when like I log into like go into Discord, look at the clan chat, and everyone's like, oh, they fuck with the mafia, let's ladder them. I'm like, oh, goodbye. Like it's just. I just feel bad whenever that happens. I don't know. I get like I go to the first place and I just like fall off. I don't really care for PvP.
That's also why there's a lot of people who do like what Lace did with a lot of the mafias I've seen him in, which is like he's in the group and he kind of shows up sometimes. He also just vibes for the most part. And then it's like, if you guys need me for anything, say what up.
Yeah. I definitely say community is like the main thing though, because like I'm not like the gameplay is incredible or anything, but it's all simple enough and there's enough like skipping involved to where I can like automate I like log on, do my dailies, and then if I need to do anything else, I will. I will say that I do wish that they allow 4x speed for new stuff as well, because like even if it's technically new or whatever, and not like a revival event, I know I'm gonna steamroll these like NPCs, the monsters or whatever.
Yeah.
Just let me do it slightly faster than I would otherwise.
Okay, real question.
Yeah.
So gacha games, I mean, I don't know if it's notorious. I don't know if they're notorious, maybe they are, but like having like people getting frustrated obviously with like them not getting whatever characters they want, right? Or like whatever
Uh-huh.
upgrades or stuff like that, right? Okay. So now the natural question to ask is which one is the worst? But I'm not going to ask that. Do you think there's a gacha game that you've played that had like a very like generous rate of like getting whatever characters, cosmetics, anything, or like you were surprised by how generous they were?
I mean, the start of Precon, I was the luckiest motherfucker on planet Earth, but I don't feel like I've played enough to where I can like say
Mhm.
for
I
sure.
think it's a lot of like the established games are like more generous too. Like at this point in the game, in JP, like Precon is one of the most generous games out there that I can think of, but not the global English version quite. But like the Japanese game version of Precon, it's got lower pity on it. It's 200 instead of 300. You get shards anytime you summon an on-banner unit. So basically, those shards are used to upgrade the character. So like the cost of having dupes is lowered because you get a third or so of that upgrade just from getting the unit naturally. And they give out a decent amount of stuff. There's like a lot of events in Precon. FGO is a somewhat generous one, but I think the most generous gacha game that I've played was probably Dragalia Lost. At least like in the early games when I played it.
Yeah, I played that as well, but apparently they made a couple of changes in the more recent months or year,
yeah.
and went to shit.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Dragalia Lost kind of dropped off. It's actually, I think there's end of service like pretty soon, if not already happened. But in the
Yeah,
early
but-
days of Dragalia Lost, it was like incredibly generous. Like it was very, very easy to play the game free to play and have like good teams.
Yeah, and I think it was one of the only games, if not the only game I've ever seen, to not only remove trash out of their pool. So in Dragalia, what you could do is you could essentially summon for characters and equipments. They removed the equipments out. But not only that, they also reduced the amount it costed to pull. So if it was like 150 gems, it was now 120 for a single pull. I've never seen anything like any other game do that before.
They made like major changes to their entire summoning system just because when they first made the game, everyone was kind of like, this system's kind of shit. So I'd probably say that's like the most generous one I can think of, at least. I thought World Flipper, when you first started the game, was somewhat generous, but then once you kind of caught up to everything, it kind of just felt normal.
It's interesting because we are talking about all these side games, right? And I'm wondering if there is like a almost a community, almost a cult following that just like you try one side game and then you kind of follow it around, similar to how some other gacha games are like, oh man, your star would die, right? So they probably played like Arknights or Azure Lane, and then they went on to follow your star to Revived Witch, and we're like, hold up, what the frick? So yeah, I'm wondering if that.
I mean, there are definitely like side games people. Like we had a few in Sky. There were people that would like Berserk is a great example. Although Berserk, the only one I think that I know he didn't play was Grand Blue. But Berserk played Dragalia, he played World Flipper, he obviously played Precon. Like Berserk was one of those guys that was like really big into just like, oh, new side games game out, let's try it.
Yeah, I don't know if I could ever do that. Like, whenever you ever see a gacha game, I'm like, if I get into that, I'm gonna lose money. And so having like following around a whole company's like all their games, I'd not be able to do that.
I mean, it's kind of the same as like normal games, like PlayStation, PC games.
I suppose,
like
but like
you get like your Mario's, right? And it's just like, oh, Nintendo made a new Mario game. Like, I should try that. It's different, but at the same time, it's like the same behavior.
I kind of I kind of see it as
It's
the
like
same. I don't know.
Pokemon.
I've never cared for Nintendo games that much, honestly. Like, I think they, I don't know. I just don't understand it. It's like they've released fucking like 20 Mario Karts. Like at the end of the day, like after however many of them, I'm gonna get bored of it eventually.
When are they upgrading to an actual like truck or something? Like it's just carts, bro.
But it's like the Switch is like an overpriced fucking DS at this point, like or a PS2. It's like a PSP. It's honestly just a PSP at this point. I don't know. They're not
What?
ahead. They're not ahead of the curve on many things. There are games that they have that are like storied franchises that like a lot of people will gather around, but they could do better. Nintendo is a very, very rich.
Oh, for sure.
They're the rich company, and I feel like people just consume what they put out because
like
it's
Pokemon, dude.
Yeah, like Pokemon. Pokemon is dog water nowadays. It's like, look, if you're gonna you have the money, make something like make a decent piece of hardware. Get over to Game Freak, smack them in the fucking face, and tell them do something with all the money that you make. It's the most profitable franchise in the world, and it only gets worse every year.
Have you played Arceus, the open world one?
Yeah, I did.
He did. Totally legally.
I played it on my alternative device,
I
Yeah.
see.
but
It was fun.
It was
It was
fun.
fun.
it was like I could play it enough through the story, but once I finished, I'm like, all right, I'm done. That was the game that I played. It's just I don't know. They could have done so much
That's
better.
just like a very
I think-
Nintendo thing.
I think
feel
it's
though.
something that like they went in the right direction. Like let me go around, but it's the most like it's the most open world I've ever seen in my life. There's fucking absolutely nothing but just death and
Which is also kind of funny comparing that game format to Gacha games when we talk about it, because Gacha games are like the opposite. There is no end game. In fact, the story doesn't even matter for half of the games. It just is there, so there is a story, but it's just endless grind. And even if you catch up, you'll just be grinding more next month when the next level cap comes out.
after a point I'm just like, okay, I'm doing like the same things over and over again. And it's like the first area gave me like a decent bit of content, but I think I speed ran all the other areas in the same amount of time I spent in the first. It's just it got to a point where I had done everything generally that there was to do, and I felt no reason to like look at this game and care anything about it after that. It was like the small dopamine hit. It was like a new toy. It's a new toy. I got through the game fast enough to where I didn't have time to hate it. But I look back on my experience with it, and it's just I don't know. It just wasn't a good open world game, and then like in the grand scheme of things, there's nothing to do except like catch Pokemon and just exist. And you and there is technically an end goal, but you don't get anything for the end goal. Like I watched the video, someone completed the whole the whole Pokedex, and like all the extra stuff that goes with it, like catch 25 of this Pokemon, whole thing. They're like, all right, good job, and that's it. You don't get anything. You don't get like a cool Pokemon or anything like that.
They basically just clap for you.
They're like, they give you a pat on the back and they're like, good job, you played our game, dumbass, and then you're done.
No, they get you get to meet like the creator of the game or something inside the game or something.
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's a pat on the back.
It's like it's like when you go to like in Black and White or whatever, they had like the Game Freak offices in Castalia City or whatever bullshit it was. That's the kind of thing I envision whenever you get to meet the game creator in a game. I don't know. This shit, I don't know. It doesn't mean anything. I felt no end goal. Maybe I've become like after playing Pokemon in like a competitive sense for however long, maybe I just hate the game at this point. But I don't know. I just didn't feel anything with that game. Like I completed it. It was something I consumed. It was like it's like one of those like mid-seasonal. I'll never think of it ever again.
But what other game is not going to be like that? You know what I mean? That has replayability that isn't live service, because it's not live service, right? I think PK pointed out.
That's like my argument is like gacha games are live service, so they will just keep taking level caps and everything, and just keep making content for you, even if it's like not super exciting.
You can still add like I don't know, because like that's the thing. If you're gonna have like a game that doesn't move from like where it is, you should either one, you're gonna add like DLC at some point. It's like it's not like you ship it's like way back in the day, whatever, you'd like buy expansion discs or something to play DLC. You can give DLC or whatever, or you can just make your base game not shit, and then you don't have to worry about DLC. I felt like Legends Arceus just it got to a point where I'm like, I've done the same thing over. I've climbed too many mountains to care about this game anymore, with no like end in sight. I don't know.
But wouldn't you be able to say that about like for example, Skyrim or Breath of the Wild. Like once you're done, you're kind of done, right?
Yeah, but like there's more to like Skyrim. You can dump a lot more time into than you can like a Pokemon Legends Arceus. And it's the story of Arceus is just boring as fuck anyway. It's not like I don't know. It's you drop in this world and you gotta like go stop the what's it called, the legendaries from going doing things.
For some reason you have a phone. And it's just
Yeah,
like chill.
you have a
Which was
phone modeled
hilarious.
after God. Like how how fucking full of himself is that motherfucker? And then he gives you a phone that's modeled after him. It's just so corny. I don't know. Like I don't know. I didn't play like too much of Skyrim anyway. I think
You're a big Elden Ring guy.
I was a big. I dropped 70 hours into that. I haven't played in a little while. Whenever I decide I want to drop another 70 hours into it, I will. But I have to reinstall the game because I got my new PC. But I had fun in Elden Ring. There is stuff everywhere. Everywhere, I'm like, oh fuck, that's a cave. I gotta go into that, and then I get my ass kicked for a little bit, and then or I don't if it's like an old cave. But Elden Ring presented challenge. Pokemon Legends Arceus, I was just throwing balls at shit, and I was horrendously underleveled the whole game. And I had no problems. It's just I didn't feel the need to do anything.
Yeah, and to be honest, I agree. I think for me, that Pokemon game, that open world one, it represented what it could be. Do you know what I mean?
I think
it's kind of
like I think Scarlet and Violet, they're gonna be open world or whatever. So this is like that was like their test run, I guess.
It's like the test, yeah.
So like we're gonna see like, and they probably should have waited to release it or whatever because it hasn't been that long since Sword and Shield released.
It's like their normal cycle. They always do.
I don't know. If they took their time and they made a decent game or like I don't know, use their vast amounts of money to not be a shitty company, Game Freak could make a much better Pokemon game than they do. I think it's after a while. It's like why I played Showdown for so long, and all these fan games are so much better than like the actual ones now. It's just I don't know. It should be obvious, like if they, not that Nintendo cares about their community, I guess, but like looking at the community, so many people go back and play older games and like do challenge runs of them because the new ones just suck. No one likes them, and the people that still play them are like, they're doing like the Wi-Fi VGT stuff, and they have to play the game.
Well, I do think some of the problem with that is like porting some of the new games, but that's like an entirely different subject. But it's like you can't really do good challenge runs of Pokemon Sun and Moon because we don't have a good way for you to
you can't
get Pokemon Sun and Moon into a situation where you could do like randomize all Pokemon challenge or something like that.
Well, I feel like they should build that kind of stuff into the game. Honestly, like I shouldn't have to download an alternative version of the like the
That's
games.
fair,
to
but
get a
I will
challenge.
say I do think that is a more American like popular thing here in the West.
I mean, maybe
I'm surely people still do it in Japan.
Well, in Japan,
my
they have
understanding
you can get fucked if you like have ROMs and stuff. Like they're a lot more.
Yeah, exactly. So my understanding is like this is something that like the West does that Japan is not really like doing.
Yeah. I guess because their laws are like I don't know. They don't have like an opportunity to let that happen because if I was Japanese and I said on this podcast that I used an alternative Switch device to play Pokemon Legends Arceus, I'd disappear
GGs.
for a few months or whatever. I guess that makes sense. I don't know. It's still just they should add a difficulty mode at the least because all the games are like piss easy now.
I do agree.
Yeah.
I remember I forgot that I played this, but Pokemon did release a Gacha game. That was,
I was about to say
Pokemon
that.
Masters.
Masters
Pokemon
I
Masters.
played that for like
and
5 minutes.
Pokemon Masters EX or whatever. I played it for like a week. It
What do
actually
you do in that game? What do you do?
the problem was the combat system that it does was just really unfun, to be perfectly honest.
I
But like
never cared about
the IP and the trainer and units and everything they come out with are fun. It's actually kind of cool that like you can have multiple units of the same trainer, but with different signature Pokemon that they've had. So like you could have Ash and Pikachu, but you could also have Ash and Charizard, for example.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was really based like I think they tried to do something big. Because there was do you guys remember the live multiplayer mode?
No, I dropped the
I
game
do
5
remember.
minutes after installing it.
Okay. but there was, I believe, like a multiplayer mode, a co-op mode, if you will, where you guys essentially, like, I think 3 of us had to team up and take down a boss, something
Yeah.
like that. So I think they were trying to do something big, but
That
yeah,
game just lost a lot of interest at that point from like people who were interested in gameplay. It's Pokemon, so at the end of the day, like there's always going to be a certain amount of people. I mean, for any game, there's just going to be a certain amount of people that are just like, this is the greatest thing ever. I must keep playing.
You know what Pokemon game is like that right now? Pokemon Go still has
Pokemon
a
Go, yeah.
massive cult
Pokemon
following.
Go has a
Technically, yeah.
huge fan base for a mobile game that I would argue like hit its peak
It peaked after
4 or
release,
5
honestly.
years ago. Yeah.
I think it's like Clash of Clans, right? Like sometimes I'll like go to like my friend's apartment or whatever to hang out, and they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, so you have a Clash of Clans installed?" I'm like, "What? That game died when in like 4th grade. What do you mean?"
It's still around?
I'm like, "Why the fuck are you playing it still?" But I feel like Pokemon Go, it's weird because like one day it was the same thing. Like I was with my friends, like, "Oh yeah, do you have Pokemon Go? Like we're gonna go play that on this day." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, didn't this game die like 2 years ago? Like I don't understand.
It like almost it also there was a period of time where it was out of like the public eye, but it was still like almost something that you like needed to have Pokemon Go on your phone for a period of time just in case people were like, "Oh, want to go catch Pokemon?"
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. There were people like out in the streets, like it was insane.
Dude,
It was
some
insane.
of the like whenever like a fucking like a Lapras appeared or something, they have like stampedes in the fucking streets. I'm like, what the fuck? That game at its
Sound
peak
of
was
my city,
definitely like, I don't
It was
know.
magical. It was freaking magical.
It was magical, and everyone's like, wait a minute, everyone hates each other in real life. Back to not playing Pokemon Go.
Exactly. So this is a fun question that kind of went through my mind, but are there any like IPs or anime or things like that you would want to see have like a legitimate like gacha type game that don't have one out? So obviously there's like obvious ones like shonen type stuff, but even like deep cut ones. Like I would love to see a Bofuri gacha game, for example.
Oh
I think we
wait!
may have
They
mentioned this.
did. It did not last very long.
That's like the other, that's the like the other placeholder here is like insert the word good gacha game in there somewhere.
Died pretty fast. It's because they took so long with season 2. I still don't know if it's coming out in fall because they haven't said anything.
Yeah, they still haven't confirmed anything, and it's terrible.
Yeah, they just let their game.
But it like because like Pokemon was a great example, right? Because people wanted a Pokemon type game like Pokemon's Masters for a long time, which is part of the reason why on launch it was actually like kind of popular, but it just kind of let it down. Or My Hero. I remember me and Dan, not Dan in this call, another friend of mine named Dan, waited like 4 years for a My Hero gacha type game to come out, like literally saving money so that we could, when it come out, just like, get the cool like Broken All Might unit or something like that. And then some did come out eventually. Played them, everything like that, but it like that type of thing, like a game or an IP that you're just like, I would love to play just a gacha style pull units from this type game, and it doesn't have to be like a popular shonen or anything, just like something that you think would be like fun in that format.
For me,
Sure.
I think it was Mushoku Tensei, which did
Mushoku
have one,
would be
and
interesting.
it died.
Good old death. It's really hard to like keep these games alive. I guess I don't know. I'm a little
That's like
surprised
the other
Mushoku
thing is
would
that like
die.
a lot of them do have them. Like Data Live, for example, has them.
Yeah, Data Live's a fucking big ass IP though, like really big IP. And they have the intrinsic advantage of having really good character designs, and so you can do a lot with Data Live as like a gacha game, I suppose.
Mm.
I don't watch Data Live, but holy shit, Kurumi! I'm simping without even watching the show, my guys.
Her design's really good, but she's like a yandere, and so I'm like, I don't know.
We are very not into yanderes.
I'm not a big yandere guy. Yeah, this is not a yandere friendly place.
I don't know if this one exists. Surely it does.
Sure.
But Food Wars.
I think it did.
I feel like
I'm
Food Wars
pretty
Dude,
sure.
there's no
I
way.
think it had a game.
it has to have existed, right? But I feel like a Food Wars gacha would be kind of fun.
I feel like in the game episode we said something about it. It had a game of some form. I don't know what it was though.
It had a game, yes, but I don't think it was a gacha game, perhaps. But maybe it
Maybe
was.
While PK's looking that up, on the topic of anime, what is something? It doesn't have to be recent. What's your favorite? Actually, let's just start with that, since we're an anime podcast, I suppose.
Yes, Lace. Generally,
what is your favorite anime, Lace?
Oh, that's a tough one, but I'll go
my God.
recently. Like recently, I really enjoyed. Oh, what's that one called? The one with Bocce in it.
Hitori
Bochi.
Hitori.
No. It's the little kid with the Osama ranking.
Oh, yeah, that
Oh,
one.
that
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Bochi.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it, and then the ending was kind of like a car crash for me.
Yeah,
it
that's
went.
what so I've watched 21 episodes of it, and I'm afraid to watch the last 2 episodes because I've heard that it kind of like has a really kind of weird ending that not a lot of people liked.
Yeah, it just went into the shits.
Meanwhile, I like 21 episodes in, and I feel like episode 21 had a pretty good ending to me.
Actually, I just
Like,
maybe just don't
I
like
know
finishing
that they're
shows
still
with
doing more
Bochi.
things, but
This
Yeah.
man has watched 11 episodes of Hitori Bochi and he won't finish it. There's only
yeah,
12.
I'm at 11 out of 12.
I hate that.
One that I did like to the end was 86. I freaking love 86.
Okay, this is an
Fantastic.
86 friendly
This
room.
is an 86 friendly podcast.
Isn't or is?
It
Is we
I think both Daniel and I have it in our top 10.
yeah, I have the
like,
whole I have all
all-
the novels on my shelf right now. So yeah, it's something that we both like.
Yeah. It's I think especially since they took the time to delay those episodes, those last ones. They were so incredibly impactful. Like they were freaking good.
I would love to say give me an 86 gotcha, but it sounds like a terrible idea.
Well,
I'm
I mean,
gonna pass.
Yeah.
I guess it would like kind of work. I don't know though. It would probably die. I can
It's
guarantee it would die.
I'm
Actually.
picturing it in like the same vein as like a Blue Archive type thing. I guess.
Like shooting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm picturing something like that with like 86 characters and everything. I'm like, wow, this game already sounds like shit in my head.
Yeah, Blue Archive like gameplay wasn't my favorite, I guess. Like the biggest issue was they kept fucking crashing. It was really pissing me off. Like the launch, I played it on launch and it kept crashing. I'm like, all right, this game doesn't like look good enough for me to keep playing it, I suppose. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I do have a wallpaper engine of like Blue Archive, and the little like little theme song is a bop. But
I very much with Blue Archive like started playing it and was just kind of like, yeah, this one's not for me. Like it's cool. I respect it and I can't blame people for liking it a lot, but I almost immediately started trying to play the game and everything. I was like, nah, this is not the one for me.
yeah, do you have a list?
There is an anime that I've always wanted to watch that I'm not sure like if it's up my alley. It's called, is it Overlord? The one with the
the
skull guy?
skeleton guy? Yeah, season 4 just
Surely,
started. Yeah.
surely
The guy
Overlord
from
has a
One Piece,
gacha
bro.
game, right?
Shut the fuck up, Stat. Anyway, that's inside joke from previous episodes, I suppose. Though if you know the character, I guess it works.
There's an Overlord game.
Yeah, I think there's an Overlord game. Overlord is an interesting world filled with interesting characters that is also
What's that
filled
mean?
with annoying as fuck characters.
Be a bit more explicit, bro.
All right, so Overlord is like the bad guy, like side of the isekai, right? So
Okay.
I don't know, how much do you care about isekai? Are you like the hater, or are you like me, where like you'll pick one up every now and then as like like
Yeah, that's me.
like an hors d'oeuvre being passed around?
Later.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
if you're fine with isekai, then you'll probably like it. I just find some of the characters really annoying, and it like detracts from like the world and story that I find
That's
interesting.
like my biggest issue with this. I don't find any of the characters particularly to be too interesting to me.
Yeah, they
And
like
so
the
the
think-
world's cool, the concept's cool, but I just can't.
it's
enjoy
it's like in slice of life animes where like they're walking through like the school halls with like the popular girl and like, oh my god, she's so pretty. It's like that like literally every episode, except they're sucking this dude's like bony dick. It's I don't know. Season 4 just started and a lot of the episode was just that. Like there's like some interesting stuff mixed in, and then they're like, oh, we want to sit on your lap, and there's like 5 minutes dedicated to that. And so
Okay.
it has highs and and the CGI is really bad, like really bad. Does not improve ever either. So I don't know. It's something that's very hit or miss, I feel, with people. For me, I think it's fine, but I don't know. It's not one of my tops.
Huh. That's disappointing. But I kind of had the same feels, especially with everyone. There's a massive cult following around the what's her name, Albedo.
Oh, Albedo.
Yeah.
I fucking hate Albedo too. I hate her so much.
There we go.
She's a big old simp for. She's the biggest simp, and that's like her whole character. It's really annoying. I don't know.
I got a contentious one for you guys. How do you guys feel about Sword Art Online, SAO?
I
Never seen it.
thought. Okay, so SAO season 1, like the first half was fine. Second half, awful. And then season 2, I think Gun Gale like started fine. It was like an interesting concept, but the end kind of, I don't know. Sword Art Online has a big problem where the author only knows how to start conflicts through like sexual assault and stuff, and he's used it like 20 times. And so by the time it like in season 3 of Alice in like Alicization, where like it actually would have been something that like impactful to like happen, at that point I'm like, oh, here we go again. I just feel like it's written itself into a place where I just feel disappointed no matter what it does.
Fair.
I thought it started to get better, like with World of Underworld, but then I feel like the second half of that, or not, the Alicization in general was a step up, and the World of Underworld was like interesting because they took Kirito out of the picture, but then World of Underworld kind of like threw all the world rules that they set up to the side, and that like really took me out of it. It was like really big over. It was like spectacle over storytelling is something I really hate.
I have similar feelings where like the world and the ideas of Sword Art I like a lot, but the writing for me just kind of falls a little flat.
I think it never should have left the game ever. They should have stayed in there. All 100 floors. 100 novels, 1 per floor.
Another show that's interesting to talk about in the realm of shonen anime that get random gacha games. This year there was an announcement that Fire Force is going to be getting a gacha-based RPG game.
I'm not too surprised by that. Jujutsu Kaisen's also getting one, I
Fire
believe.
Force
Or it got
actually,
one already.
I think in 2017 had a rhythm game that came out. Or
Rhythm
something
game?
like that. Yeah, there was a Fire Force rhythm game several years ago. But yeah, so it's like one of those ones where I like Fire Force a lot. So I'm like, maybe I'll try this game. But I just remembered that while I was thinking of like stuff that I could have games. I was like, oh right, there was a Fire Force announced like a few months ago, like 3-4 months ago, probably.
All right. Let's see. Who's your favorite anime character? Your best girl, your waifu? Is it like
Your wife.
Gacha can be included, I suppose, as well. It's kind of like the same realm. Who's your favorite?
Oh shit. Right now, the first character that comes to mind that I like the most would be Raiden Shogun from Genshin Impact.
Genshin,
Yeah, absolutely.
Big
Oh
Genshin
my god,
guy.
what a babe, right?
that is fair.
Yeah, but aside from that, right now, I can't think of anyone else right now. Like, you put me on the spot there. I could have prepared, done some research. Be like, what are all these hundreds of animes I've watched? Who is the best girl?
I mean, obviously for me, we went over best girls in previous podcast, but my number one girl, Saya, is a character from a gacha game. So
Saya, who's Saya? Which one?
Saya Yamabuki from Bandori.
Bang
right,
Dream
right.
Girls, where you don't bang
Yes.
Dream Girls.
Yeah, where you don't actually bang the dream girls.
You have to bang them in your dream if you want to do that.
I guess another thought. Thinking of Bandori, thinking of Princess Connect, gacha games that have gotten anime projects, like games that existed. Because for the longest time, I wanted Dragalia Lost to get an anime project of some sort. For example, I was thinking of like games that like play now or like have existed. Like certain parts of FGO have never been adapted into like anime format. Wonder what some cool ones would be that could be like get in 12 episode season or something, kind of similar
Genshin
to like
Impact.
how Princess Connect got its win in
Genshin
12
is
episode.
Chinese. I don't think it's getting an anime.
Yeah, Genshin is
the equivalent.
But Arknights is Chinese and it's getting an anime.
Arknights
Oh,
is-
I didn't know
that's
that. I didn't
true.
know Arknights was Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
Genshin could
I
one
probably
day.
should have. The names are like very Chinese. I haven't played the game in a while though, so
Yep.
I feel like it's harder for that type of stuff to get an anime though. And what would you really?
I think like a Blue Archive would actually be a pretty fun anime.
Halfway
Perhaps.
there, right? Just like Precon, they were halfway there.
Yup.
What the fuck? I had a question. What's your all right? What's your least favorite anime? Do you have something that you hate, despise? What grinds your gears?
I there was a period of time where I think I joined at about the time I joined Sky, which is the top 10 guild that we were in, and you guys were watching, what is that?
Oh,
Healer,
no.
something Healer.
Healer
Oh,
Girl?
No, it's redo.
Oh, redo
Healer.
of Healer. Oh,
Redo of Healer.
Redo of
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Holy shit! I think I watched like one episode. I was like, nah,
Dude,
bro, what the
it's a-
frick you guys watching?
So I watched the whole thing out of like intrigue, I suppose. You're
Yeah.
lucky to have stopped at episode 1.
Yeah, not even episode 1. It was like
Oh.
a couple of minutes. Like I skipped through it, and I was like,
Oh.
nah, this ain't for me,
Dude,
man.
episode 2 is let's just say that is where it gets that you would have definitely dropped it then if you did not drop it episode 1. It's something else. We have talked about it before. We will not talk about it again here, but it's my lowest rated as well. It's not my least favorite, but it's my lowest rated.
Yeah,
I think my
that's
least favorite
really
thing I've
not-
ever watched is probably Gamers.
Gamers is the worst piece of media ever created, honestly. I'd rather watch Redo than like if I could rewatch Redo of Healer and like erase Gamers from my mind, I'd do it.
You do it. That's fair.
But
have you guys watched? Have you guys? Oh, I'm sure you guys have watched it, but how do you guys feel about the slime isekai anime?
Tensura?
Tensura?
Yeah, Tensura. Yeah.
Tensura is good.
I have fun with it. I don't think it's like the greatest thing ever or anything, but I think it's fun.
I think it's
Yeah.
hard. Like I can't decide with Tensura if it's the type of thing I want to just like watch a little bit here and there, or if it's something that I should be wanting to binge. Because I always feel like I want to like get really into like, oh, let's do like a lot of Tensura right now, and then I watch an episode or two, and then I'm like, all right, that's my fill of Tensura for the next 6 months.
Yeah. The thing with like season 2 has like a lot of build up, like a lot of build up. Like an episode that wasn't even like a recap episode felt like a recap episode because there was just so much like.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were trying to
Yeah.
like fill space for the episode, I guess, because they wanted to like get to a certain point at a specific episode, maybe. But I think it's fun. I think it's an interesting world with fun characters. It's not like deep or anything, so I could never like look at it as like too great, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, I almost felt like it started off deep and then didn't go deep, right? Because it was it turned very like geopolitical, which is
Yeah.
like for me a large part of the interesting part, right? Like almost like getting not hostages, but what is it? Those ambassadors from different and different races and stuff, and then coming together to build a country, almost like similar to the United States and
It was
and
like at the
Australia.
time, it was almost the opposite of the type of direction you expected it to take.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you guys try the gacha for Tensura?
I knew it had one.
Oh,
I never
I
played
have not
it.
tried it.
I
I
might
also
have-
know
I don't
that
know.
Tensura characters are kind of like ReZero. They're kind of characters that I don't know how the rights to stuff like that works, but it seems like they do a lot of collabs with games.
I think the rights
Right.
to stuff is more like, hey, you have really nice looking characters. Please collab with
Please.
those.
How much do I have to pay you to put Rimuru in my game?
Yeah, that type of stuff is like ReZero is very profitable. Like Rem merch alone could probably fund like a family of 20 or something like that for 20
very true.
1,000 years. But yeah, it's one of those profitable franchises that like you slap it in your game, you're gonna get people like downloading it just for that.
Is ReZero the only one that has that kind of reputation? Where
I don't think
like,
I've ever seen anything more like Slime and ReZero are like they're everywhere. I could never like look at a gacha game that isn't like, hey, we're collabing with this.
They will have a collab of like one of those two almost.
I don't
There's
think
like
I've seen
another
anything
one
else.
that I feel like has been happening a lot more recently, but
What about Nier?
Near like Automa or whatever. I don't
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't,
yeah,
I don't
that
know.
one.
I don't know anything about that. So I know it
Looks
exists.
like an interesting game though.
Isn't it getting an anime? I think.
Is it?
I want to say it is. Maybe I'm crazy. I know Arknights is
it might
getting.
be.
I know Arknights is getting one. I don't know if Nier is getting one or not. I suppose I can like literally look it up right now.
I haven't heard about it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, I just meant from like a or not a ReZero level, but like that kind of commonplace
Yeah.
collab, right? Like Punishing Grey Raven got Nier collab. And a couple of the other ones that
Oh,
were coming out.
it literally already has an anime, I think. So,
Oh.
Okay.
wait, no, hold on. There was a reveal teaser in February apparently.
I
But
feel
then
like
there's
Demon
also
Slayer
one that
might
says it
be
was released in 2017. Demon Slayer, I feel like I haven't seen a collab with that many, but like it's definitely one of those
It's been a
things where
while, but I've definitely seen some Demon Slayer collabs. It was like, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of the most profitable franchises right now. So yeah, that does in fact make sense.
Do you think if you're playing a game, did you like collabs? Or do you think it's something that kind of feels weird? Like I always
Depends on
thought
what
that,
they're collabing with.
I always thought
right?
like the ReZero collab in Princess Connect felt so random to me. It's like, yeah, it's cool to have, Amelia Rem in Precon, but also why?
Would your opinion change
Muddy.
if it was a collaboration with an anime that you loved?
I don't know. It might
Love is
depend on the
blind,
game
Spat.
too,
Love is
right?
blind.
It might depend on the game too, but I think my big thing is like it's hard for me with collabs to like buy into or care about the characters being there. And then collab units themselves are usually either useless or broken. It's very rare when you get a collab unit, it's just kind of like decent.
Okay.
Usable, but not like meta defining.
Right.
Yeah, that's really true. I personally, I hate the concept of collab characters, but that's because of my like I must have them kind of thing, because they're limited, they're never coming back.
I was ready to kill my account to get the ReZero characters on Precon, so I made it out luckily in like probably 100 total pulls. Yeah.
But it's for that reason that I hate collab characters, right? Like Arc Knights, same thing. Rainbow Six Siege. I don't even like them. I don't even like them, man.
Rainbow Six Siege collabed with Arc Knights? What the fuck?
Yeah, dude.
I have so many hours dumped into that game.
Yeah, I mean, like they did it well. Like the characters blended in. They look like they belong to the world, and they wrote up like a whole story and everything. But my god, I did not care about any of those characters, and I still like went deep for them. Frick.
Well, it's also like Precon collabs are interesting because there's the ReZero characters that came out, and like in JP they're useful, but they don't do anything in global yet for at least like the next year. But there's also like Precon had the Idolmaster collab as well. That they won't be in global, at least not for a while. But they had the Idolmaster and JP, and like the Idolmaster characters, if I remember right, one of them is absolutely broken, and the other is basically useless. Which are like two sides of the same like issue that I have with collabs. Which is like, one, why are they even here in the first place? But also two, like you're either getting a front and center meta unit that has no purpose in the story or the lore, or you're just getting a somewhat expensive collectible because you want to, get the cool limited unit that you don't even know if it'll be back in the game ever again because it's just a random collab.
Speaking of Idolmaster and animes that are getting, and gacha games getting an anime, Idolmaster is getting an anime this season, I think.
Idolmaster bin had an anime. There's so many of them.
Oh,
they're probably getting like another one or something. I've said before, they breed like rabbits. Idol animes do. There's always gonna. I'm sure there's another one. But speaking of recent anime, are you watching anything this season? We just talked about that last week.
Or is there anything that you've seen this season that you're like,
that you're interested
I don't know
in?
if I want to watch this or not? I know Daniel and I both have a recommendation for you. It's the same show.
I had something that's a little bit of a contentious one again. So last season, I think that what's in it? Is it Komi?
Komi can't communicate.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I watched the first episode, and I watched the first episode of Shikimori as well, and I dropped it, both of them.
Nice.
Yeah, so a lot of people like Shikimori don't like the main character with the purple hair or whatever. I thought he was whatever, but maybe I'm just like, I've seen so many annoying as fuck characters. He just doesn't like stand out to me. But
I thought my only issue with Shikimori was it was almost too slice of life. Like, Ahirin by comparison in the same season.
Ahirin is so chaotic.
Yeah. Ahirin was chaotic and funny and like felt like anime, but then I watched Shikimori, and a lot of the Shikimori episodes are just kind of like normal.
I feel like Shikimori like speed ran the slice of life like trifecta. They had the summer festival, they had the sports festival, and they had the cultural festival. They had the river episode. They had the whole gauntlet that they went through. But this season, my current recommendation that I'm spreading, like Mike the Apostle, spreading the gospel of Licorice Recoil.
Yep.
I highly suggest that one if you're looking for something interesting to watch.
Just funny because neither Daniel and I think really like had this very much on our radar before the season started.
Okay, so
and then Daniel was just like,
did.
I'm gonna try it.
I've had it on my plan to watch since it got announced because I thought the title was cool, but I didn't know anything about it. I went into it blind, and I'm like, all right, this is my anime of the season now, and one of my favorites, probably of the year so far. Especially, I think Chisato is Girl of the Year easily so far, anyway.
Is that the one with the blonde hair?
Yeah, the blonde hair. My profile picture currently.
Oh,
yeah, she's the one in the GIF we sent yesterday of like her getting kicked in the ass. That one.
Kind of topical because we're in a cafe. There's a cafe in Licorice Recoil.
I didn't know it had anything to do with cafes at any point, and then I watched it. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. But it's definitely my favorite so far this season. It's just fun.
Which I'm really far behind on a lot of my seasonals already, and we're only on episodes 1 and 2 for everything. But I think it was of the episode 1s I've seen, it was probably my favorite one.
Episode 2 is really good too, but I'm not.
I still have to watch episode 2.
But we're about an hour 20 in, and I don't want to like keep you for almost all the time that you have, and make you like break 20 laws to get to work. So I think we'll probably wrap up here. If you have any social medias you want to like shout out, like your channel, just like say your name and stuff like that.
We'll also probably put those.
Yeah, well, of course, we'll link them in the description. But if you want to say anything, so people who don't read the description will hear.
Yeah. Nah. This thanks for having me. I'm just in it for the fun, man. This is freaking lit.
All right,
That's all I got to say.
He's gonna be humble. I'm not going to go follow him. You can like look up Lace Gacha, and you'll probably just find his channel media. But like, what even is your name? Yeah, like Laceal G.
Lace. Yeah, it's Lace, and then in
parentheses,
it's Laceal G.
All right, but you can follow him if you have a gacha game that you are looking for information on, especially Precon. He helped me a lot when I was a wee lad who didn't know anything about it. But now I just follow with my authority figures within the guild, with all the documents and shit we have. But if you don't have that, then his videos are very informative. He goes over a lot of the nitty-gritty details that some people won't, and he'll give reasonings for some things. And yeah, he's a fun guy. I have not had any problems with him. Both of us have been in clans, so we can confirm good person for now. Maybe he leads a life of crime underground or something, but
he'll also do like his little. I think my favorite Lace content is when he'll do his live streams for either when he's pulling stuff or if, like I said, he used to do a lot of times he'd have like groups coming in to pull stuff. But I think that was my favorite because once again we're all gambling addicts in the gacha community. Yes. So seeing someone else either like profit or suffer because of their own gambling issues is like probably the best like time that I think a lot of people have on Lace's channel, unless you're really into the specific games he's talking about, in which case it's like super informative.
No, I would say the peak of my channel is probably the gambling streams.
I love the gambling stream. It was fun the one time that I was a part of the gambling stream, and even though I regret the amount of money I spent on it, it was kind of a funny moment for me to be like, oh, my stream had an issue. Hold on 1 second, I'll be right back, and then I pop back on and I have $300 worth of gems on the account, and it's like, that was the problem.
Yeah, handshake on Halloween Misaki causing many problems for us financially. Mine was more in the game. I lost a lot of gems, and my account is in an awkward place right now, and has been for many months. But
you keep surviving.
I keep surviving. God dang it! I'm the luckiest motherfucker who plays this game, and I will continue to be that for as long as I can. I got Summer Makoto, the current banner, in one multi. Which saved. Yeah, dude, I had 9,000 gems going into that shit, so I was in a tough spot. The game was like, you know what, it shined its light upon me. But that will be the end of Gochuucast episode 10. If you liked it, I hope you subscribe, and also go subscribe to Lace. Leave a comment down below. You can talk about your favorite gacha games and how much you regret playing them. You can find us on the audio platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts by going to our Anchor link down below in the description. But that is all for today. As usual, we will see you next Saturday at 3 p.m. EST weekly. Thank you and goodbye.